Hey everybody, Gina Mizell here alongside Danny Moran. We are at Oregon State practice on Wednesday. Of course, the Beavers face UCLA on Saturday afternoon at Reser Stadium, and it was an offensive availability day. So we got to talk to quarterbacks. We talked to Nick Mitchell, talked to Dave Baldwin, and we talked to Seth Collins for a couple of minutes just now. And he sort of detailed how that injury happened. You were there before I was, so what did he tell you?
Yeah, he initially said as he was backpedaling on Thursday morning during stretches that he tweaked something in his left knee. That's what we know now, but he said it wasn't from a prior injury. I think we both thought from Washington State or Colorado when he got banged up a bit and was limping off that maybe it was from there. He didn't seem to say that, but we at least know he'll be out this week. That was in this week's injury report, even though it was kind of explained earlier in the week. So it will be Nick Mitchell again. That's kind of what we know at this point.
Yeah, he called it a freak accident.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think people were asking, how do you injure yourself in stretching? Well, weird injuries happen. So he's definitely hurt. But yeah, you mentioned Nick Mitchell obviously will start against UCLA, his second full game starting, and just in talking to him, he spoke about just the late game execution, but also feeling more comfortable now that he's been kind of handed the reins and gotten all the practice reps.
Yeah, it'll be now his actual first full week of knowing he's going to get all the reps. I mean, one of the interesting things I thought this week was Dave Baldwin talking about how the Wildcat stuff that we saw from Victor Bolden, Storm Woods was really put in very late in the week after it was determined that Seth Collins would not be able to play.
Right.
I'm curious to see how much we'll see of that this week, given that there's a full week to plan, and obviously it's a different team. But no, the thing that has been talked about is red zone execution. 1 for 4 as far as touchdowns in the red zone, 1 touchdown, 2 field goals. That's what really has to change now that we've seen Oregon State actually move the ball across the field, which for a lot of the year that's not been the case.
Yeah, although explosive plays is something that Dave Baldwin also said. He said, I would rather have a 5-play drive where you get a 74-yard gain from Jordan Villeman than like a 14-play drive. So again, Gary Anderson has talked about earlier in the week just trying to find an offensive identity in this last month of the season, and we don't know how long Seth Collins is going to be out, so for the immediate future that offense and that identity is going to come from Nick Mitchell. Yeah, and then you've got running backs in and out too. I mean, it's really down to Ryan Nall and Storm Woods, so we've seen Victor Bolden back there, a lot of different things, so it's kind of hard to establish an identity when guys are kind of dropping week by week, particularly as with so many young guys the season goes on, but you have fewer options to go to. Yeah, and Baldwin was asked about Ryan Nall. Of course, he did not get a carry after having a career day against Colorado, and he echoed what Gary Anderson said, that the game plan was to get the ball out to the edges, that the defensive front of Utah was the best they were going to see all year, and that they did not believe they could run the ball between the tackles. So we've gotten the same answer 3 different times, so I think we can maybe put that to bed at this point as far as why Nall didn't play very much.
And it makes sense. I mean, Utah has the best rushing defense in the Pac-12. I mean, I think they've kind of established week to week, and based on all the scouting that they've done, it just wasn't going to work. That doesn't mean that Ryan Nall may get more. I mean, UCLA is last in the Pac-12 of stopping the run, so it wouldn't surprise me to see both those guys get a lot of carries this week, with Nick Mitchell making his, I guess, 3rd start. Yeah. Technically. Yeah, and UCLA, you mentioned their defense is very banged up right now, especially at linebacker and some other parts on the defensive front, so we'll see how that all transpires on Saturday. But of course, until then, we will have all of your pregame coverage on OregonLive.com and in the Oregonian. Gary Anderson talks after practice on Thursday, and then we will move toward game day. So for Danny Moran, I am Gina Mizell. We will catch you next time from Corvallis.